Hey everyone, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why some people, without a big job, without a big business, end up becoming millionaires, while others earn a lot of money their whole lives and still struggle financially? Today I want to tell you the story of a man named Ronald Read. Ronald was an ordinary man. He never had a fancy education. His whole life he worked at a gas station and later cleaned floors at a department store. No big salary, no business. But when he passed away in 2014 at the age of 92, people were stunned. He had $8 million in his account, and he donated every single penny to a hospital and a local library. Now you might be thinking, how is that even possible? There was no magic, no lottery, no luck. Ronald simply knew one thing, something that Albert Einstein once called the eighth wonder of the world, and that thing is compounding. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything an ordinary person needs to know to build real wealth in their lifetime. I won't use any complicated financial jargon, just simple ideas that you can start understanding from today. But let me be clear about one thing up front. This video is purely for educational purposes. Any examples, stocks, or numbers mentioned here are only to help explain the concept. I am not a registered financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be taken as investment advice. Please consult a certified financial advisor before making any financial decisions. And this video is not for people looking to get rich overnight. It's for those who want to build a real, lasting life, where money is never a stress. If that sounds like you, let's get into it. So first, let's understand what compounding actually is. In the simplest terms, compounding means your money makes money, and then that money makes more money. And this cycle just keeps going. To understand this, imagine a snowball, a small one, that starts rolling down from the top of a mountain. At the start, it's tiny, it's slow. People watching say, "What's that going to do?" But as it rolls down, it keeps growing. More snow sticks to it at every turn, and after a point, it becomes so massive that nothing can stop it. Compounding works exactly like that. It feels slow in the beginning, which is why most people don't take it seriously. But for those who stay patient, over time, that snowball grows so big, even they can't believe it. Now let me show you this through an example. 3 friends, Jack, James, and Mary. They all live in the same city. They invest in the same market. The only difference between them is when they started. Let's start with Jack. Jack is 20 years old. He just got his first job. He decides, let me invest a little. He invests just $10,000 one time, and never adds another dollar after that. He basically just forgets about it. Now James. James thinks, I'm young. This is the time to enjoy life. I'll think about investing later. At 30, he finally gets serious, and he invests double what Jack did, $20,000. And then there's Mary. At 40, Mary thinks, I'll put in the most money and leave everyone behind. She invests 4 times what Jack did, $40,000. Now let's see. At a 10% annual return, where each of them stands every 5 years. Jack invested $10,000 at age 20, 5 years later. At 25, his money has grown to $16,105. Nothing exciting yet. 10 years later. At 30, $25,937. The snowball is still small. 15 years later. At 35, $41,772. 20 years later. At 40, $67,275. 30 years later. At 50, $174,494. And 40 years later. At 60, Jack's $10,000 has grown to $452,593. Now look at James, who invested $20,000 at age 30. By age 60, 30 years later, James's $20,000 has grown to $348,988. And Mary, who invested $40,000 at age 40. By age 60, 20 years later, Mary's $40,000 has grown to $269,100. Now pause for a moment and look at all three together. Mary invested $40,000, has $269,100 at 60. James invested $20,000, has $348,988 at 60. Jack invested $10,000, has $452,593 at 60. Jack wins. He invested the least and ended up with the most. Look at Jack's growth. It was almost flat in the beginning. But after 40 or 50, that line shoots straight up. That's the magical curve of compounding. And it only comes to those who stay patient. The winner here wasn't the one with the most money. It was the one with the most time. Now here's something I want to tell you, and this might genuinely shock you. If Jack had waited just one extra year, investing at 21 instead of 20, he would have lost over $41,000. Think about that. His entire investment was $10,000, and one single year of delay would have cost him $41,000. That's 4 times his original investment. Lost, just because of 1 year. This is what we're really giving up when we say, I'll start later. You can always earn more money, but the time you've lost, that never comes back. Now let's look at a real-world example. In 1970, when Walmart first listed on the stock market, it was just a small discount store chain in small-town America. Nobody imagined it would one day become the world's largest retail company. If someone had invested just $1,000 back in 1970 and simply forgotten about it, that $1,000 would be worth over $12 million today. $1,000 into $12 million. That wasn't luck. That was compounding, given time. Now a big question. Does the market always go up? No. And I want to be completely honest with you about this. Markets fall too. In 2008, during the financial crisis in America, markets dropped over 50%. In 2020, when COVID hit, markets around the world crashed 35 to 40%. And what were the news channels doing at that time? Screaming, "The market is finished. It'll keep falling. Get your money out now." And people who panicked and sold, they locked in their losses. But the people who understood compounding, they actually bought more. Because for them, a falling market is like a Black Friday sale, where you can pick up shares in great companies at a discount. Long-term investors who stayed invested through the 2020 crash saw their portfolios deliver very strong returns over the next 2 years. But remember, every situation is different. Jack wasn't a genius. He had no special knowledge. He had just one thing: patience. And that patience is what made him a millionaire. Now let's talk about the stocks that created the most wealth over the last 30 years. This is purely historical data. Please don't take this as a recommendation for any stock. First up, Amazon. In 1997, Jeff Bezos started an online bookstore. People laughed. They said, "Who's going to buy books online?" Today, Amazon dominates e-commerce, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. Based on historical data, Amazon has delivered around 200,000% in returns over 30 years. A $10,000 investment would have historically grown to around $20 million. Second, Monster Beverage. And this one is the most surprising. An energy drink company actually outperformed Amazon. It used to sell juice under the name Hanson Natural. In 2002, they launched Monster Energy and took over the entire energy drink market. Historically, around 230,000% in returns. $10,000 historically grew to around $23 million. This proves you don't need to find a high-tech company to build wealth. The right business, the right timing, and the right patience. That's all it takes. Now let's talk about where things stand today. Over the last 10 years, the market has shifted. We moved from e-commerce to artificial intelligence and semiconductors. The biggest name, NVIDIA. This company used to just make graphics cards for gaming. Then came the AI era, and NVIDIA's chips became the backbone of everything. Run ChatGPT, build self-driving cars, power medical research. It all runs on NVIDIA chips. Based on historical data, NVIDIA has delivered around 23,000% in returns over the last 10 years. $10,000 historically grew to around $2.3 million. Second, AMD, NVIDIA's strongest competitor. Historically around 9,200% over the last 10 years. $10,000 grew to around $930,000. And then there's Apple. In the 1990s, Apple was almost bankrupt. Steve Jobs came back, created the iPhone, and built an entire ecosystem. iCloud, App Store, AirPods. Today it's one of the most valuable companies in the world. Now you might be thinking, there are so many stocks, how do I pick the right one? What if I get it wrong? There's an answer for that too. If you don't want the risk of picking individual stocks, there's the S&P 500 index. It's a basket of America's top 500 companies. You invest in all of them at once. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA. Everything. No research needed. No stress. Based on historical data, the S&P 500 has delivered around 225% in returns over the last 10 years. $10,000 historically grew to $32,500. And over 30 years, $10,000 historically grew to around $175,000. This isn't magic. It's simply time and compounding doing their job. Now the most important part. Something most people never figure out. Why do people fail to benefit from compounding? Because they break it themselves. Mistake number 1. Panicking and selling when the market drops. In 2020, when COVID hit, those who sold locked in their losses. Those who stayed invested with a long-term mindset saw much better results. Mistake number 2. Spending your profits instead of reinvesting them. The real magic of compounding happens when your returns start earning returns. If you keep pulling out your profits every year, compounding breaks. It's like chipping away at that snowball at every turn. It'll never get big enough. Mistake number 3. Waiting for the perfect time to invest. People say, I'll wait for the market to dip a little more, then I'll get in. And months, sometimes years go by. We already saw how expensive just 1 year of delay can be. Remember, time in the market always beats timing the market. The golden rule. Never interrupt compounding unnecessarily. So let's quickly recap what we covered today. First, money isn't the greatest asset. Time is. The earlier you start, the greater the benefit. Second, don't break the chain. Markets fall. Headlines scare you. Stay calm. Stay invested. Third, start learning today. The more you understand, the better your financial decisions will be. Ronald Read had no MBA, no secret formula. What he had was patience, consistency, and a deep belief in compounding. You can have those same 3 things. You just have to make the decision. Hit subscribe right now. And don't forget to ring that bell icon